Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I have been in this fashion for going on 10 or 11 years now, and I've been seeing a lot of new people coming to me asking for advice in my DMs. And I really want to be that Lolita big sister today. So I am going to be sharing all the things that I wish I had known before starting out in Lolita fashion. All right, so I have my notes, and my very first piece of advice would be learn what is Lolita fashion and what is not Lolita fashion. That is the biggest thing that I would go back and tell my young Lolita self. Look up, research, read, talk to people who have been in the community for a long time, talk to people who cord well, whose outfits that you like, learn what is Lolita, what is not Lolita, to make sure that this is the subgenre of Japanese street fashion for you. When I was a baby Lolita, what I thought Lolita fashion was just being cute. I had so many dresses because I was into like just kawaii style in general that I thought if I throw a petticoat on it, it automatically makes it Lolita. That was not the case. And I'm very thankful for the people who did not pacify me and told me that was not the case. But let's look at some examples real quick. Lolita, not Lolita. Lolita, not Lolita. Lolita, not Lolita. So, yes, learn the difference, do your research, find out if this is what you want, and then we can move forward. So, the second thing that I wish I knew before starting Lolita fashion is that Lolita fashion is expensive. It is expensive. It don't gotta be expensive, but it is expensive. Okay. So Lolita fashion can be a very expensive fashion style, depending on the subgenre that you choose within Lolita, depending on your budget, depending on what you think expensive is. But be willing to drop some money if you want to look good in this fashion. I'm just gonna put it out there. If you are not sewing and making your own clothes, and if you are, I am super duper jealous. Please teach me. But if you are not, be prepared to spend some money for quality. Quality is much more important than quantity when it comes to Lolita fashion. When I first started out, I was buying a lot from Bodyline, which a lot of people will buy from when they are new because the dresses are inexpensive. And I go back and forth with recommending Bodyline just because there are other places that you can buy from. But if you want to just buy some cheap dresses just to practice and flex your muscles when it comes to courting, I feel like that's okay. But Bodyline does not have to be the end all be all for starting out in Lolita. There are other places that you can shop from, such as Taobao. You can also shop from Taobao resellers like Devil Inspired and Lolita Wardrobe. I shop mainly from Lolita Wardrobe because I love the selections, I love the sizing, and also because they offer payment plans. And you can also shop from Lace Market where people are reselling their old garments. There are Facebook groups where people are selling garments. There are many, many avenues that you can take for buying Lolita. Everything does not have to be $300, $400, $500 from Angelic Pretty, Baby the Starshine Bright. You do not have to drop your whole entire paycheck every single time you want a new dress. Lolita is an expensive fashion, and by that I mean paying over $100 might be too much for some people. So when I say it's expensive, I mean the quality of the fabrics, I mean all of the accessories, I mean the staple pieces. It can add up over a while, especially if Lolita is not your main source of fashion, creativity, and expression. If it's just a side hobby to you, that could be a very expensive hobby. But look at all of those places that I named, and you can save yourself some money. All right, something else I wish I would have known when I was starting out in Lolita fashion, which I probably should have just guessed this, but honey, people stare a lot. People stare. Like maybe you were like me and you were always wearing really cute outfits and people just got used to looking at you. You got used to people looking at you, asking to take your picture, blah, blah, blah. It is a whole different scenario when it comes to Lolita fashion. Like The outfit that I'm wearing is not a average everyday outfit. We have to be accepting of that, and we have to be prepared for the amount that people stare, for the questions, for people wanting to take your picture with and without your consent. Those are all things that you will experience when you are out in Lolita fashion. It will not be scary and hostile, hopefully, but these are things that you have to be prepared for. I something that I've noticed recently, a lot of people just like say that I'm dressed up like Bridgerton no matter what style of Lolita that I'm wearing. And even though I don't really watch the show, please don't tell my friends I don't watch the show. But even though I don't really watch the show, I will be forever thankful for Bridgerton for giving people some type of frame of reference and just for making it more socially acceptable to be dressed up. And yeah, that's all I can say. People stare. If you're not okay with that, I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's move on. So, something else I wish I'd known before starting out in Lolita fashion is the importance of collecting staple pieces. And by staple pieces, I mean blouses, socks, headdresses, shoes, bags, all in different colors, different styles, different shapes, and petticoats. Petticoats are very, very important to Lolita fashion to give you the floof, to give you the right silhouette, and there are different petticoats for different dresses. There are different silhouettes in Lolita fashion. You could be A-line, you could be cupcake. You need the right petticoat for the right dress. It is so important, and a bad petticoat will ruin a cord. A bad petticoat will destroy a good cord. So make sure you are collecting your staple pieces. I would say to start with plain colors like black, white, blue, pink, whatever colors you plan to build your wardrobe around, so that you will have what you need when it comes to building your cords and you're not going to be scrambling or wearing the same thing over and over and over again. And staple pieces do not have to be expensive. You can get them from all of those places that I listed before, like Taobao, Devil Inspired. You can even go on Amazon and get Lolita socks for cheap, Lolita shoes, so you can get buy jewelry. You can make your own jewelry, your own wrist cuffs, your own headdresses if you're talented enough. It doesn't have to be expensive, but I will say collect the staple pieces before you buy your first dress. That will help you out when it comes to courting so much, and it'll help you when you're picking dresses. If you notice you have a whole bunch of Peter Pan collar shirts, you might want to try out Sweet and Classic Lolita. If you notice you have a bunch of lace, like the lace on my dress, you might want to try Classic or Gothic Lolita. Collecting your staple pieces will really help you so much when it comes to building your cord and selecting your dresses. So collect them staple pieces, honey. So, something else that I wish I had known is in regards to sizing. So, sizing is tricky with Lolita fashion. Remember that this is a Japanese street fashion, so they do not always accommodate Western bodies, and that is perfectly A-OK. But brand sizing, I will say, runs a bit small, especially with Angelic Pretty and Baby the Star Shine Bright. When I first started out in Lolita fashion, I was a size like a 2 or a 4, so I could fit into everything. But as I've aged and as my body's changed, like that is no longer the case. So we have had to make some adjustments in our wardrobe, adjustments in where we shop, and adjustments in our old dresses by having them altered, which is perfectly A-OK. I know that some people feel a certain type of way about altering brands, but it's your dress. Alter the dress if you want to. I don't know what to say about that. But I will say that measurements matter more than size labels, and that you should learn your measurements in centimeters, because that is what a lot of people use when they are advertising their dresses. Your bust, your waist, your hips, your shoulders will all be in centimeters. So learn your measurements in centimeters. Also, shirring does not mean one size fits all. Not all shirring is created equally. Some dresses are full shirring, which is amazing if you have a larger bust. Some only have partial shirring, and sometimes the shirring don't be shirring. The shirring, it don't be stretching the way that you think it will. So those are all some things to keep in mind. However, there are a lot of places that will sell dresses that fit plus size Lolitas or tall Lolitas or any kind of Lolita. You can buy from places like Lolita Wardrobe that offer custom sizing. The dress that I'm wearing now was a custom size dress. Devil Inspired has a whole section for plus size Lolita. You can also shop from your local Lolita, small indie brands that usually will cater to plus size Lolitas. There's Night Whisper Lolita. There are so many places that you can shop from. Even if you just Google plus size Lolita shopping, you will find places that will have your size. I do not want people to be discouraged if they're in a larger body that they can't wear Lolita fashion. You can. You just might have to put in a little bit more effort to find dresses that fit, which is perfectly a-okay. And at some point, I'm going to create a shopping guide for plus size Lolita, or you can just look up the ones that already exist. But yeah, sizing can be tricky. So, something else to keep in mind while we're on the topic of dresses, it takes time to build a good cord. It takes time to learn how to build cohesive coordinates. So I will say that's something to keep in mind when you are first starting out. When you buy your first dress, and like I said, make sure you have those staple pieces. When you buy your first dress, I would go to your local community. I would actually join a community while you're in the process of like learning about Lolita fashion. Join your local community so that you can have people to talk to give you advice and that you can look at cords and all that different stuff. And I would just have a round table with your coordinate, like have a round table, talk about what different elements you want to add to it, talk about what matches, what doesn't match, watch some YouTube videos on building a cord. I have one in my playlist. And yeah, it will take you some time, but be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. This is a new thing that you're trying out. It may not be perfect the first time. You might look crazy in your first cord, but as long as you are making an effort, I say you will do very well. And I will also say be open to feedback as long as that is coming from a good place. Be open to that constructive criticism from those within your community because they want to see you look good. They want to see you do well. They want to see you feel comfortable and confident when you're in your first coordinate. So be open to constructive criticism. If you are in the Big Sisters Lolita group, you can post a staple piece that you want to have and you can post what you are planning to wear with it. I usually put my stuff in like a picture grid and I will put it out there and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about this blouse with this dress? What do you think about these tights with the pattern of the dress? What do you think about these shoes with this bag? You can ask so many questions. You can DM me and ask me questions. I will always be there to answer. Just be open to learning. Learning is your biggest thing when you're starting out. You should be trying to learn from other people. You shouldn't assume that you know everything. And you should be willing to accept positive, good place, constructive criticism. And something else that I wish I had learned before starting out in Lolita fashion and buying 600 million dresses, you will grow out of your first taste. You may grow out of wanting to be a sweet Lolita. You may grow out of wanting to be gothic. You may grow out of wanting to be aristocrat. You might just want to try a multitude of different subgenres within Lolita. So I would say get dresses from different subgenres. Don't put yourself in a box and say, I'm wearing sweet, so I'm only sweet. If that's who you are, that's fine. But don't put yourself in a box and feel like that it's clicky and that you have to be a sweet Lolita. You can only be a gothic Lolita. You can only be a classic Lolita. That is not the case at all. You can explore every subgenre. You can be sweet on Monday, classic on Tuesday, gothic on Wednesday. You can do whatever you want to do because at the end of the day, it's just clothes. So, yeah, I would say, but be prepared to grow out of your first taste. The dresses that I was wearing when I first started out, I was really into Sweet Lolita. I could not imagine. You will not catch me dead in those cords today. So be prepared for the mental shift that comes with Lolita fashion. You will become a more confident person as you go out in public and you get used to being stared at. You get used to answering questions. You will become a more creative person as you learn to put your chords together. You will become a more social person as you go to different meetups, or you can just be a lone leader. That's fine as well. But all this to say, Lolita fashion is amazing. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. It is a very big mental shift when you start out, and it's just incredible. And I hope that this video has been helpful for people who are starting out in the fashion, who really need some advice. Watch as many YouTube videos, TikTok videos as you can, absorb as much as you can, and you got this. You got this. You will make mistakes. You will learn. You will grow. You will look beautiful. You got this. Thank you all so, so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed my rambling throughout this video, and I hope that you stick around for more content. I am trying to get back into content creation in 2026. So please give me all of your video ideas because my well is runneth dry. But don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on social media, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.